Hi, Fiber friends. I'm Suzanne Colon, the author of Yoga Mind, Journey Beyond the Physical, and welcome to MedKNITation. So first, I guess the logical question is, what is MedKNITation and why do we need it? MedKNITation is using knitting as a form of meditation. I've been a yoga and meditation instructor for, wow, a long time now. I've been studying yoga and meditation for almost 30 years, and I've been teaching since 2002. And the thing that I hear most often is people saying, I can't meditate. And, people have different ideas about what meditation is, and it's a different experience for everybody. But one of the things that I've learned is most effective for teaching people how to meditate is to give them something to do. That may seem a little counter to what you've heard about meditation, that you're supposed to just sit quietly and still and erase your mind of any thoughts, but that's not really what it's about. It's kind of more about giving your consciousness an anchor, and then your thoughts kind of recede to the background, and you become calmer and more focused. So I've tried a lot of different kinds of ways of focusing my mind. Yoga is a form of meditation. It's a moving meditation. That's what we say when I teach at Integral Yoga Institute in New York. And another form of meditation for me has been drawing. And then, of course, knitting, which is why we're here. So you all know that knitting is very meditative. When I ask people what they like about knitting, the first thing they say is it's so meditative. But what happens when we're knitting is when we first start and learn to knit, these stitches have our 100% focus. They need it, otherwise we drop a stitch. But then we become more proficient. We're able to do it faster. We start knitting in groups where we're like talking and catching up with people and having a good time. Or we do knitflix, knitting while we're binge watching something, movies, listening to podcasts, listening to audiobooks, and also working more complex patterns so that we can make really amazing things. All of these things are great, but it's also great to set aside some time for that really basic initial medKNITation that we used to do when we first started out, and these stitches had 100% of our focus, because that let our minds calm down and we got into that meditative state. So I set aside time each day to do knitting as a form of meditation, where I don't do anything else while I'm knitting. I'm not watching TV or listening to music even, or podcast or audiobook or the radio or anything, and I'm not talking if I'm with other people. I led a medKNITation at Nitty City last year when Yoga Mind came out, and it was such a great experience being in meditation with a room full of people, and we were all knitting and crocheting at the same time, and I guided them through knitting as a form of meditation. So that's what I'd like to do with you today. There are a lot of different ways to do this. They're all quite simple, and I'm going to guide you through one now. So the only thing you need is something very simple to work on. Referring to a pattern, counting, things like that, those are distracting and will take you out of the meditation. So what you need is something that we think of as mindless knitting, but it's actually quite meditative knitting. It's just something that we don't need to think too much about at all. So if you're making a scarf, a blanket, or you're like me, at the point in a sweater where you basically just have to knit and purl, knit and purl, knit and purl back and forth, that is a perfect medKNITation piece. So get something uncomplicated. What I'm working on today is a sweater, and I have reached the point where I can now just knit and purl back and forth. I don't have to count or think about the stitches. This is perfect. So get something like that, whether it's knitting or crochet. Or this can also work with embroidery if you are at a point in embroidery where you are doing repetition. Sewing, same. any kind of fiber art, as long as you don't need to think too much about what you're doing. The action is an anchor for your mind, and that's a very regular concept in all forms of meditation. Okay, so once you have your piece, we're going to be using a few of the tools that I talk about in Yoga Mind, which has a 30-day program for living more mindfully, reducing stress, and living a more spiritual life. So we'll be using some of those tools in this meditation today. So once you have your project, and again, I'm going to work on my sweater here as I guide you, make sure that you're sitting comfortably, and take a moment here to just sit up tall. Feel your spine lengthened, and roll your shoulders up as you inhale and exhale them back and down. Inhale, roll shoulders up toward the ears. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, roll shoulders up. Exhale, back and down. Good. Allow your chin to move toward your chest. Your chin doesn't have to touch your chest. And then lift your chin so that you're looking at the point where the wall meets the ceiling. Head not too far back. Allow the chin to lower toward chest. Lift chin up toward ceiling and wall. And one more time, lowering chin down and lifting the chin up. And then allow your head to find that happy medium center where the jaw is level with the floor. Now allow your eyes to close for a moment as you feel your breath. And you can take a nice deep inhalation and sigh the air out. Inhale. And release in a sigh. One more time, inhale. And release. Allow your breathing to return to its natural pattern. Feel your breathing flowing effortlessly into and out of your body. This natural, normal rhythm that is yours and yours alone. And yet we are breathing with everyone who is doing this meditation right now. We are all connected, all one. Feeling each other's peaceful, easeful vibrations. Wishing each other well. And now, as your eyes are closed, if you would like, set an intention for your day. This can be, I will get through everything I need to do calmly, or a simple, broader, yes I can. It could be, I am peace, or I am love. Set your intention. Allow it to come to you. And now, opening your eyes, with this nice grounded feeling of calm, let's begin. So first, take a moment to remember what it was like when you first learned to knit. You went very slowly and deliberately. You were paying very close attention to what you were doing, and you moved the needles very slowly. Now for some of you, this may be a challenge to go slowly again. You know, speed is a point of pride in knitting and crochet. We've all seen videos of people just rushing through things, speeding away, knitting and crocheting so quickly. And that's fine when you want to motor through a project. But for the purposes of meditating, let's go slowly. Let's enjoy each stitch. Let's just feel the yarn moving between our fingers and how it feels in our hands as we go down the row. Remember, this is a meditation. This is about process, not product. You don't have to go so slowly that it's driving you crazy. That wouldn't be very meditative. Just slow down to the point that you can see what your hands are doing. You know, we do these movements so many times, they become automatic. What happens when you slow down enough to really notice what your fingers are doing? It's really remarkable to watch our fingers performing these movements. Whenever you move the work along your needle, pause for a deep breath. Feel the inhalation and the exhalation. Listen for the sounds, beautiful sounds of the yarn moving along the needles and the needles touching each other. Different sounds for different materials. Whether you're working with wooden needles, metal, some other material. Feel your mind beginning to focus more closely on these sensations. The feel of the yarn and the needles, the actions of your fingers, the sounds the knitting or crocheting or making. You may notice that your thoughts have receded to the background. They will not be gone entirely. The brain was not designed to work that way. But the thoughts are quieter, less demanding. And you may find that if you had an issue that you needed an answer to, or perhaps a path, a direction, that answer or path may reveal itself to you as you go along. Remember the sensations of the yarn, the actions of the fingers, the sounds you are making, each time you move the fabric along the needle. Deep inhalation, relaxing exhalation. Deep inhalation, relaxing exhalation. One more deep inhalation and relaxing exhalation. Namaste. So, that was your first meditation session. It's very similar to what I did at Nitty City last year, and I'm going to be doing many more different types of meditation in the coming weeks and months. We'll be focusing on different tools from my book Yoga Mind and exploring different ways to use knitting as a form of meditation. Please let me know what you thought. In the future videos, I will be allowing more space for silence. Since this was our first time together, I wanted to offer more of a steady guided meditation. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you'd like to focus on, or any particular issues that you may be dealing with, health issues, life issues, and we will direct a meditation toward those in a future video. Thank you so much for joining me for this calming, meditative knitting session, otherwise known as a MedKNITation, and I will see you again soon. Thank you, Viber friends.